So yeah, let's jump into some actual conversation. So I don't know if you guys knew this. Actually, before we get into this, I did have a couple of things I wanted to pitch your way. Matt, I wanted to see if you could give the people a little bit of a breakdown of what's going on with the Switch 2. Like, obviously, it was announced a couple of weeks ago on Nintendo's, what is it, the Nintendo Direct? That's what
Yes.
they do. So they announced it. They announced that it was dropping in June. Cost came out, $450 for the console itself. Then there was a pre-order date that they said pre-orders would be live by, I think, April 9th was the original date, but then that got pushed back. So can you break down? You're a video game person. Do you know the drama? What's going on? I've been seeing a lot of people upset about the price of some of the games. Can you give us a little bit of a breakdown of what's going on with the Switch 2?
Yeah, so the Switch 2 is kind of really talking pretty big about their charging for how much they kind of like they now invest into their games, how much like the return on the product they're putting out. So yeah, the system is going to be $450 to like $500, and the video games, Mario Kart 9, I think is what it's World. Sorry, thank you. Is the first one that's dropping with it, and that game is going to be $80 if you're buying it outside of the bundle. And people are freaking out now because they're like, our video game is going to start being $80 bucks. Because even Sony, they're $59.99 or $69, sorry, depending. And it's just people are getting really scared that like with these hikes, is gaming going to become too expensive?
What's the like average cost for a new video game currently on other systems?
So I think with PlayStation, it's like $69.99.
Okay, so we're talking a $10 increase.
Yeah.
Okay. So
For a Switch, which in Switch is like, in this day and age, the Switch 2 now is being compared to like graphic wise. It's going to be like playing your PS4, like your PS4 Pros. So right now though, we're on our PS5s and our Xbox Ones. Those can play at like 60 frames a second, depending.
yeah,
And those have better graphics, but are way cheaper.
I was gonna say, but that's never been like Nintendo's bag, though, right? They've never been the like, oh, we're gonna make these super hyper realistic games with these like super high, technical aspects that are leagues above the rest of the market. They've always just, in my opinion, I'm not a gamer, but from what I've seen, Nintendo's always just been about fun. It's always been about just like what's the most entertaining game that we can make. So my sort of pushback against like people who are going ape shit, because I live on Reddit, and people on Reddit are just going ape shit about the $80 price tag on Mario Kart World. And my pushback on it is like it's not like they've said it's going to be that all new games are going to be $80. Like I think a couple of the other new games like Donkey Kong Bonanza has come out and said that that's just going to be the standard like $60-$70 price tag. So a lot of their games aren't going to have that $80 price tag. I don't know the logic or the thought process behind making Mario Kart an $80 game, other than the fact that they know people are going to buy it,
Right.
and they know people are going to play it as in groups. So they're like, most likely you're not going to be playing this game by yourself. So maybe we can make it a little bit more expensive, so that when you're doing, a 4-player game with your family at home, you're gonna be feeling like you're getting the most for your money. I don't know. I'm not a Nintendo exec, so I can't say, but I just feel like it's a little bit of a like overreaction, just from the outside looking in, someone who's not a gamer. Like I think, like you said, $70 games are already a reality. So like an extra $10 for like a tent pole video game doesn't seem so dramatic to me. It seems like maybe people are just panicking for no reason. And also, you can get it bundled, and $500 for the Switch 2 and Mario Kart Party or World.
Yeah.
So it's like $50 if you just, and most people probably are going to buy it with the release of the system. So again, I don't see the hubbub about it, but again, I'm not a gamer. I know, Luis, you're sort of in the middle, right? You're not a a super gamer, but you're also someone who does play video games.
Yeah, so and I used to play like video games a lot more, like
Yeah.
that religiously. Like I would get out of junior high, and as soon as I was out of classes and I got home, I'd jump on whatever console I had and I played for 4 or 5 hours every single day. And it got to the point to where I didn't find much amusement doing that anymore and playing by myself. I'd rather just be with a group of people or out and about.
Fair enough.
But I actually have like a little bit more of the background to this because I still collect. Like Nintendo's a big part of,
Sure.
all of our lives, and Pokemon's a big part of mine. And so like one of the things that they were talking about was the Switch and the new Pokemon game coming out, and they were talking about like, well, in Japan, they have the same bundle for Pokemon, but it's about $100 cheaper if you buy the Japanese version bundle and you do the conversion. It comes out to like $37.99 plus tax, just about. And part of it, I think, is just like production, right? You have to produce a physical item and you have to ship it. And where's most production these days? It's not in the U.S., right?
That's fair. Yeah.
So you got to import, you got to break down the cost with everything going on. Like it's going to be a little bit more expensive. I definitely agree with you on the fact that like we're bumping it like $100 like than what it used to be, or like $20 on the game from what it used to be. Because like even when we went up from $40 games to about $60 games, I was like, man, I really gotta like this game in order to buy it, or I'll just wait till they put it on discount. Like, but then, I mean, discounts haven't really been happening this last couple of years. So
yeah,
I think
that's what. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off,
No.
but I've heard that that's sort of also a thing with Nintendo, is that their games don't ever really go on sale. Like
No.
it's like
Nope.
Mario Kart 8 is probably the same price as it was when it dropped, so they don't really have that sort of, oh, we can just wait till it goes on sale type of mentality.
Yeah.
Which I can understand why people are frustrated against that. But apparently that's never been a thing. Like apparently that's always been a Nintendo sort of rule.
Yeah, and so like there's another part to it is like I hear that they're trying to push more for digital content,
Oh,
Yes.
which like if you're gonna buy a system, knowing the PS4, the Xbox is like, I don't know how Switch is gonna do it, or Nintendo, because like you have to have enough space. Yeah, you can add SD cards, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's the only thing you really can do.
but it takes up a lot, and like you think about these games, like if you buy the biggest version, it's gonna be an extra $200 for the system, right?
yeah.
And then digital content, but they're saying, oh, we'll discount it like $5. I'm like,
Yeah.
$5 less for a digital version. It adds up, but then you're converting that price to like space. So
Yeah, I did see something. Also, someone on Reddit posted. There was a post, and it was like, "Oh, Nintendo makes it official. $80 price tag on Breath of the Wild for Switch 2." And it was like, if you read the article, it's not an $80 price tag. It's
No,
the
it's
$10 upgrade fee for the Switch 2. So
Yep.
if you paid $70 for Breath of the Wild originally, it's an extra $10, which makes it $80. But like that's such a misleading headline. Like
Yeah.
saying $80 for Breath of the Wild on Switch 2.
well, and then
It's like
that's for the added on graphics that they said that they were working
yeah,
on.
and
right?
all the extra bonus stuff like the
But here's another point to this is like Nintendo has been leaning more towards more microtransactions in the last 4 or 5 years. Like everything is now a DLC that you add on, or at least some of the like characters, if you want to buy characters, if you buy the skins, all that stuff.
But that's everyone, right? Though that's not just Nintendo.
Yeah, that is everyone. I just see it more of like it's required for some of the main Pokemon games. Like you remember, I mean,
I've played. I don't game. I've played all of Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I've played all of what was the other one that just came out?
Sword and Shield, or Violet and Scarlet.
Violet, Scarlet, and Violet.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I played those games. I got a lot of enjoyment out of them. I didn't buy a single thing. Like I spent no additional money on those games
for the DLCs that they added on.
Nothing. Yeah. So again, as just a casual gamer, like that might be a thing for people who want to be like super serious about it and get all the trophies, and I don't know what you kids do, but
You
like
gotta get them all.
but for someone like me who just wants to play the game and enjoy it, like I played it. I didn't buy. We play Mario Kart a lot. Not a lot, but we do play it some, and I've never paid for any additional anything on Mario Kart. Zelda's, like, I have both Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. I never paid for any additional content on those games. So again, maybe for the true enthusiasts who want to get the most out of those games, there are obviously microtransactions, but I can say personally, as someone who's owned a Switch, that I have never paid for any additional anything.
So, like, let's bring it back though. What's the most you would pay? It's as like Matt being our pro gamer over here. Like, what's the most you would pay? Are you gonna buy it? And what's the most?
I'll say better question. Yeah. Are you planning to buy a Switch too?
Yes. Yeah, no, I am. I already reached out to Best Buy. I already submitted the hey, let me know when it goes on pre-order, because I will be buying one. To your question of what's the most that I would pay, video games have these crazy things, right? You pre-order them and they have certain editions, like the deluxe edition, the collector's edition. I have 100% spent probably $200 on pre-ordering a game, but that was because it was Baldur's Gate 3. It came with a little statue, and it came with a few other things. So it's like you could make the argument that it's like, no, you only spent the $65 to pre-order the game, but I spent the $300 to get the big collector's edition. So if it's a game that I love, I would pre-order it. I would spend the money to pre-order it, whatever it may be.
Like $1,000.
I mean, at that point, that's just absolutely absurd. If a video game got that high, I wouldn't even be a video gamer anymore. I couldn't afford it at that point.
Yeah, there's a line. So I guess we'll close this conversation with that question, Luis. Are you planning to buy a Switch too?
No.
No.
I barely use my Switch 1,
Okay.
So I'm gonna ride this one until I can, and then once I absolutely have to make the switch over for whatever I'm playing, if I end up playing, then I might buy one, but it'll be like secondhand.
Is ZA a Switch 2 exclusive, or is
No,
that
it's not.
no? Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that would have sucked if ZA was going to be only on the Nintendo 2. That's
Then-
the Switch 2, I mean.
then they would have then I would have had to.
You didn't
buy it.
force.
Yeah. And
I'm not going to buy it. Pokemon's on the next game. I'm in.
Yeah, to Matt's point, I have bought console exclusives. So I have the Modern Warfare 3 for the Xbox 360 that came with everything. The Spider-Man PS4. And those were things that I'd been playing for years. That was my main game, and so I did that. And so I agree with you. Anything like that, if the thing with that is that for Nintendo, they do these sort of consoles every single they've got a Mario special one. They've got the Pikmin special.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So it's too much to have to keep up with it. So no, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see if I can pick one out. And then as far as the games, if I can still play them on my Switch, I'm gonna play them on my Switch. Hopefully, I'm not dropping the $80.
Yeah. No, I will not be buying a Switch 2. not for a while, at least. Someone I saw online was like, I'll wait for the OLED version, which is crazy that this it's not an OLED right off the bat. It's
I
wild.
could not believe that.
Yeah.
I just found that out a couple days ago, that the Switch 2 coming out is not OLED. And I was like, you cheap bastards.
Is it cheap, or are they just planning for the future? So that
No, they
in
super
a few
are.
years they can say switch to OLED. Yeah.
Luis called it out really pretty apt. It's one thing that's kind of always annoyed me with Nintendo. And again, it's not just Nintendo. Everybody does it. The God of War edition, PlayStation 4, the I don't know, Gears of War Xbox actually might be a thing.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy. I had the Final Fantasy PlayStation 4 actually. But yeah, no, they all do this, and eventually, yeah, it's like the Switch 2 OLED, the Switch 2 Lite, the Switch 2 Mini, or whatever the hell they're gonna call it.
Mm-hmm.
It is for that, and I find that to be really lame. So I'll buy my Switch 2 that gets released, and I will play with it as I need to for my Pokemon games, and that's it.
Yeah, okay. this is gonna be me, like just showing where I'm at with this. Like, what's the difference between the OLED and the like original Switch? Like, I never got that.
So you need to open up your special eyes and you need to see the colors pop a little bit more. It's just like it's like ultra high def versus high def, essentially.
And the screen, I know the screen is a little bit bigger.
Yes,
and
always.
it also apparently has a much better battery life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, like for those who are frame whores, that's kind of the thing, is that it really makes the colors, not frames, but it makes the colors pop. But I'm a PC gamer now, so it's like it's a Switch. It's not gonna be that wild, but it will be great for when you're sitting there on your TV, because your handheld's never gonna be that strong.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and you brought that up at the top, about the specs, so if you're a person who appreciates specs, then, and I don't know if the OLED version was worth an upgrade from if you already had a Switch, but I think if you didn't have a Switch and you were choosing between the OLED and the normal version, like paying the extra $50 or whatever it was for the OLED version, I think that's something that, made sense for a lot of people.
I mean, I think you also hit it right on the nose, though, is that like for Nintendo, and I think this is unfortunately always going to be the case unless like they get ahead of the curve. The graphics aren't going to be anything where I need to be like, oh my goodness, 4K.
Yeah, but you're playing Donkey
3D.
Kong and Kirby. Like, do you
Exactly. I don't want to.
What do you want? Yeah, like or Pokemon. Like, you're not playing like Matt's like an Elden Ring or a Baldur's, or it's like, where you need those graphics to be, tip top, and you want everything to look super cool, and it's just like, no, you're playing cartoon games. So
until they change that.
Yeah, which I hope they never do, because like let PlayStation and Xbox be for the serious gamers. Let Nintendo be for us casuals who just want to have fun.
People.
Yeah.